1.
So you're thinking about ordering one of our gardens and you're not certain which one you want, which one is going to be best for your individual application. That's what I'm going to be going over today, is how you select the different gardens and what's the difference between the two. We get these questions a lot. Hi, I'm Alex, owner and creator of Flower Street Urban Gardens, and it's exactly what we get these phone calls quite a bit, and I want to make sure that we put this little video together to explain exactly the bracketing system and to help you to place your order on our website. So first of all, what you're going to do is you're going to determine how many tiers or levels you want with the gardens. And you can start out with simply a one-tiered garden that could be beautiful for a starter garden, or maybe as a window box underneath a window. But maybe you just want to, and we've got this question a lot over the years, if I start out with the smaller one, can I add on to it? And the answer was no, but not anymore. We've redesigned the gardens with this keyhole and also with these pins on the bottom of the bracketing system, which what that enables us to do is a few different things. One is you can add to your garden. Say for instance, you started out with a one-tiered garden and you decided, you know what, this is working great, I love it, I want to get a larger garden. So now you can just hang on a two-tiered garden, the brackets, and now all of a sudden you have a three-tiered garden. And you can do this as big as you want them to be, and you can bring them, butt them up against one another and have them as wide as you want them to be. But it just clips together beautifully, simply. Now, this garden here, this brackets, is basically for our bolt-ons. So if you had a vertical surface you wanted to bolt on, this is the garden that you want to the bracketing system you're going to want to order. But say for instance you have a wooden fence, a block fence, a brick fence, a metal fence, whatever you have, we have hangers that can accommodate and go directly over whatever you have. Now this bracketing system here is, this is a 6-inch U-hook to it, and it has a 12-inch drop. So there's 12 inches from the top of whatever you hang this over is where your garden's gonna start. Now we manufacture these in a lot of different sizes, from the big ones that go over the 6-inch. This is very standard as well for block, it's a 4-inch. And then for some of the wooden fences or some other type of railing, we do them in the smaller ones, and you'll notice this is for less of a drop. So that's the drop is really comes from most privacy fences around your backyard are gonna be roughly 6 feet high. Now, for most people, having the top tier that close to the fence, you're gonna have to get onto a ladder or something to service that top level. With the brackets and having this drop come down 12 inches or even more, in some instances you may need that a much longer drop. Just give us the measurements that you need and we can provide you with the hangers. It's gonna make your application super easy. So those are the two choices. You've got the bolt-on gardens, and then you can add the hangers to it just to hang them over whatever you have. We can manufacture those with a radius on the hangers so they can go over round fencing, say like the tubes that go over the top of chain link fence. So we can manufacture those for you quite easily. And what's nice is if you ever move, or you want to move the garden, that bracketing system, the hanger may not fit there, you can get a different hanger or just bolt it on. So now that we've selected the size of the garden, you know that if you're going to bolt it on or you're going to hang it, the next things you're going to do with when you've got the garden up, the very first board that you install is going to be these boards here that have this drainage diverter material. Now that's going to be the first board that lays right here up against the back of the bracket. That drainage diverter material will kick out towards you. Now what's great about that is it enables the water to drain from an upper level into a lower level without getting any water on the vertical surface that the garden is installed on. There's no vapor barrier required with our system. We have basically a built-in vapor barrier. We manufacture our own liners that go inside the gardens, and you can notice that there's the longer part here that comes to the front of the garden. The shorter piece goes to the back of the garden. And they already have the perforations in the liner that correspond with the drainage diverter. So it diverts that drainage water from an upper level into a lower level. Now, one of the cool things that we're really excited about, and we're seeing a huge trend, is in indoor gardening. People are putting our gardens in their own homes. Now, a simple solution for the drainage is we have little catch trays that can be installed just below the bottom drainage diverter materials. In the larger gardens, the 5 and 6 foot gardens, you're going to need 2 of those. In a smaller garden that is only 3 or 4 feet wide, you just need 1 of them. And what that consists of is an L bracket. The trays will sit right on top of those L brackets. It will catch the excess drainage water that you can recycle that back into your garden. So there's absolutely no waste. The next thing is hooking it up to irrigation. Each of our gardens come with the irrigation kits for inside the garden. And it consists of some very simple materials. This is a 1/4 inch spaghetti line. It already has the barb connection on it. And that barb connection is to plug it right into 1/2 inch poly tubing. Now, for those of you that are not familiar, 1/2 inch poly tubing is a common material that's used in irrigation. It's somewhat flexible, and none of the components are glued together. They just have these types of connections that can be pushed on or poked in, and it will hold watertight as it irrigates. So you're going to install the spaghetti line, and that's going to run inside the garden. It's going to run behind the liners in front of the backboards, and it's going to run right through. Now, as you come into the gardens, so you've got this line that's running all the way up. You're going to cut that. You're going to cut it at the lowest tier, and you're going to install the one that has a T connection to it. With the T connection, all of these are pre-cut. Then you're going to take out the slack. You're going to install the next one with the T connection. And then once you get to the very top of the garden, you're more than likely going to have an excess of the spaghetti line. You're going to want to trim that so about 1 inch above the top of the garden. And then you're going to install the irrigation line that has the 90-degree barb connection. Now, with that 90-degree barb connection, this length is twice as long as the lower levels. It's twice as long because nothing drains into it. It gets more exposure. We need to put a little bit more water there. The irrigation system is really brilliant. It has an embedded emitter, so it's a measured amount of water that comes out of the irrigation. There's also built-in filters, so they don't tend to clog if you have hard water in your area. So that's going to be a great installation there for you. Also, with the hardware kit will come with all the hardware you need for the basic installations, which would include the blue anchors if you're going into a solid surface, say a block wall or brick wall outside of your home. So you're going to need a 5/16 drill bit, and it tells you in here, there's a little piece that tells you what size of bit you need for it, and then you'll just screw these right in. We also provide you with the screws and the special bit for the screws for the end caps. Now the end caps, there is a right and left. And so this is my right hand here. This is a right side end cap. You have the small wedge that goes down, so when that goes in, it goes in like this. The plywood is facing on the inside, and that's where the screws will go right into the plywood of your end cap. And then after that, for Standard 6-foot gardens, it takes 2 cubic feet of potting soil or 60 quarts. The 5-tiered has 50 quarts, and our 4-foot garden is 40 quarts of potting soil. You want to get a good high quality potting soil to fill your gardens with. So with that, if you have any other questions, there's more resources on our website, or you can email us questions at info@flowerstreeturbangardens.com, or give us a call, 602-327-6560. This is Alex, making the world a more beautiful place, one vertical garden at a time.